Hello and welcome to the Property Business Podcast. As usual, we have Jonathan Woods. How are you, Jonathan?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, super busy. Just lots happening. Stamp duty end in the next 10 days. So a lot of pipeline stress and some amazing new listings. I've got a proper ugly duckling coming on at 1.75 million. It's a probate house in Putney, but what a project for someone it will be. It was an absolute stunner. When it's finished, it will be gorgeous. It really is. I
And
can't
we've
wait
got
for
a
it.
great guest on the show.
We
Jonathan, do you want to
certainly do.
introduce Jack Flower for us?
Yes, cool. So Jack is our first broker outside of the London area, which is one of the reasons why I really wanted to bring him on. Jack and I have known each other for a couple of years. He obviously contacted us about eXp, but I'll let Jack do a major intro about his history and his backstory. But he's out in Somerset, just recently moved to Bath and bought his first place, and is making waves out in that marketplace at the moment, and really making a stand for himself. So Jack, over to you. Do you want to give us a bit of a background on yourself as an agent, and then obviously you'll then move to becoming an independent broker with eXp?
Yeah, of course. No, thanks very much for having me, guys. So yeah, my agency experience started in London at Douglas and Gordon is where I started. That's how I came across Jonathan, and was there for a few years, and then moved across to Savills in West London, so around sort of Hammersmith area is where I was based. And yeah, loved it there, enjoyed it. That's where I sort of cut my teeth and learnt the job, but was very much seeing on LinkedIn and social media what Jonathan and some of the other guys were doing in eXp, and really the start of something new there. So was looking at that in the background and very much interested in the opportunity there. And then had a chat with Jonathan actually just as I moved out to Somerset. So when I first moved out here, I moved to Frome, which is a small town about half an hour outside of Bath, and decided to take the leap of faith into a completely virgin territory where I didn't have any network, any presence, didn't know anyone, and just took that leap of faith basically as soon as I moved out here. And I'm coming up to just about a year of being set up through the eXp on my own. And yeah, it's been a fun challenge, but I'm really enjoying it.
That is a big challenge, setting up not only a new business. If you did it where you were living, it's a challenge. Let's face it. Now, don't get me wrong. We have many people that have proven it's a very successful thing to do. But to go into a new area, you're literally starting from scratch if you don't know anyone. So what are the major things that you've come across so far that have been difficult, and where have you been your major successes as well?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the challenge is building that trust and getting people to believe that you can offer the service which you are promising. Because once you've started somewhere, you can say, well, this is what I do, here's a service I offer, here's how I do things differently. And people will say, well, that's all well and good, but what's your case study of this? When have you actually done that here in this area? And people are a little bit wary of taking that leap of faith and trying someone different. But I think really it's just sticking to the message and believing in your service and what you offer and how you do things differently, and that not everyone is going to jump onto that right away. But there are vendors who are tired of the agents locally and the lack of quality of service, the lack of the quality of marketing that's offered around here. And so your offering, which is different, does resonate with those vendors and with those clients. It's just going out and finding them. And then once you've got them, you've then finally got those case studies. So those other clients who are a little bit more wary of trying something different and trying someone new, you then have that evidence saying, well, look, this is how I've done it. This is how it's worked. And they then have a little bit more faith in trying someone new. But yeah, building up trust, I think, has been the hardest thing for me, because there are a lot of established players here, local agents and corporates, which have been in the towns and villages around Bath for decades. So really overcoming that and building trust in the area, I think, has been the biggest challenge.
What was the marketing that you did to start with? You know, first day you set up your business. What was your plan over the first few months?
Yeah, I think it was a trial and error of absolutely everything. Trying sort of local publications, so local parish mags and newspapers, getting into there. It was networking with other local businesses and asking businesses like solicitors, mortgage brokers in the area, well, what have you done which has worked the most? And often it was local publications, so tried a lot of that. Leaflet dropping, prospecting on market stock and door knocking. A bit of everything, really. Trying absolutely everything. Social media. I think social media is one you have to have patience with. It's only really literally in the last week or two where I've had leads which have come through from stuff I put out on social media, and I've been doing things every day for 9 months now. So that's taken a lot of patience. But yeah, in the first initial weeks, it was very much the usual suspects: prospecting to on-market stock, leaflet dropping, advertising in local publications.
You
And
know what
what's
I
been
think?
successful?
Just to jump in, I was just going to say, I think one of the things I've noticed with yourself, Jack, is that is your consistency. There are a lot of people that do what you've just said, but do it sporadically. I think what you've really done very, very well is to maintain that consistency of constantly doing everything, but doing it little and often. And like you say, social media, people think it's a silver bullet that's going to give them loads of leads straight away. It's not. You've got to build up that back catalogue and also your following, and gradually it will start to then permeate through to all your customers. But people start to see you in different places. And yeah, you've done that really well, and I think you do it very professionally. You come across very professionally, which I think is really important, certainly for your area and building that respect and trust. So well done to you, Jack. What would you say is the thing that's worked sort of best for you so far, or is it just all of it?
It's definitely been prospecting to on-market stock, so sending out those magic letters through our software system Loop to properties which are on the market, which haven't sold, let's say, in 4 to 6 weeks, and starting to just target those properties, send them a letter week by week. Often it is maybe 3 or 4 letters before you'll actually get a response. And then that first call, often they're not best pleased. They're asking, why have you sent me a few letters? What's this all about? And it's just chipping away and building that relationship with those vendors to just check in, see how they're getting on, see if they're interested in learning about a different way of selling their home. And
what is it that you do differently
successful.
when you get it? What do you do differently to everyone else? How do you sort of differentiate yourself?
Yeah, so I think really it's actually quite easy to differentiate yourself in my marketplace around here compared to you guys in London, because, videography and video tours aren't done. In many cases, professional photography isn't even done.
Wow.
And so just having a professional marketing package of video led by agent introduction, video tours, drone photography, the sort of basics that you would expect to have for every property that you list nowadays, that is a differentiating factor. And the other thing is proactivity and communication, actively selling your home rather than waiting for the leads to come through. There are so many agents locally around here who will just wait for the phone to ring when the property's on Rightmove. And that's something which I won't do. I'll go out and work through my database. I will work with other eXp agents, even other agents generally, to see if they've got buyers, call them up, see if they've got people who can come and have a look at the property. And then for some of the higher end stuff, doing events-based marketing for the properties as well. So having an open morning there where there's drinks and canapes, which is done by a property staging company I know, to really sort of use that American style of branding and marketing homes. And all these things aren't done, and none of them are new ideas. I haven't come up with any of these ideas myself. It's just things which aren't done in the area. So by offering that, you are really differentiating yourself and the other competition.
And what success have you had so far, Jack, in regards to where are you at, in how many properties have you sold? What business have you got coming up?
Yeah, so I've sold 5, which are all done, and I've got 3 in the pipeline at the moment, with sort of about 21k in the pipeline there. And had a few lettings deals as well, so 5 or 6 lettings deals, which has been nice.
Excellent.
Which just builds up a little bit, trickle by trickle, month by month. It's not a huge amount at the moment, but I think if I see that same level of growth, it will really cover cost lettings, really. So yeah, that's where I've got to, and hopefully we'll see the growth continue to accelerate.
I promise you will do with any business, and especially with something like this. You'll find that the first year is just about surviving and
Yeah,
learning, and
100%.
then the second year you'll start seeing success, and then there'll just be this magic moment when you actually don't know how to handle the amount of business that you've got, and it will just happen one day. You'll wake up and you'll go, oh no, how am I going to get this all done? And it's a scary feeling, but then also an amazing feeling at the same time. And so it wouldn't surprise me if you're getting close to that point now. And as you said, you're now actually getting people contact you on social media, and just keep going with that. Every time you get a property, do a video, put it online. Every time you go and do a viewing, put it online. Every time you sell a property, put it online. And then you'll just naturally find, and obviously stay in contact with all of the people that you've sold a house for. Like, give them a Christmas card and do all that type of stuff. And then just suddenly you'll just find that you actually don't know what to do because you're too busy. And then you'll have your I gather you're married. Are you married, Jack?
No, I've got a girlfriend, but not married.
Well, you'll find soon that your girlfriend's moaning at you that you can't spend any time with her because you're so busy. You'll
I
get
think
you'll get to that point.
I was going to say, Jack, I think what your story is really impressive, and I think that, you sort of underplay it, but going out into virgin territory, taking that leap of faith, backing yourself, and actually going, into the unknown, and then now clawing your way out of the other side. And I think, in the next 12 months will be absolutely pivotal for you. But I think also it's quite inspirational for other people, especially people that live possibly in London, that are thinking about one day maybe going back to where they grew up, because, or have aspirations of living by the sea or wherever it is. The beauty of this model is that it allows that to happen. And I think because you've trodden that path, and you know the pitfalls, and you know the things that people will go through, I can't think of anyone better if I was thinking about making that move. And I kind of am thinking about it myself at some point, but I'll retain my London business and run it slightly differently. But I can't think of anyone better really for people to reach out to than yourself, because be it they might not be moving to your area, but if they have those concerns and thoughts, well, you can give them that blueprint. You can assist them and help them to make that change. And I think that's the next step in your business as well, is to start to, and that's what I actually really love, is seeing people flourish that we have brought into the business ourselves and helping them to grow. And I think, this is part of, why we do these podcasts, is to try and reach that out to people, so that, if you are thinking about, making a move, well, Jack's your man, because it's clearly it can be done, and you're living proof of that. So, yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, very much so. And I think, there's a pro and a con to it for sure. There's definitely pros and cons, but there are less eXp agents out in the country towns than there are in London. I know there's such a big brokerage network that you guys have built in the London area. And so you very much have a chance to be one of the early adopters, one of the leaders of the area, to really build up that network around wherever it is that you choose to go. So hopefully in Bath, I can start to get people joining the network and working with me around the Bath area. But if it's somewhere on the coast, or if it's somewhere else, it is harder work, I think, to get started, but then you can really be leading the charge, and it just puts you in such an advantageous position in the long run, for sure.
Yeah, and you're calling the shots. It's your business. It's your KPIs. It's, you wake up in the morning, you make it happen. And I think, that's something else which people, I think a lot of people dream of having, but don't really know how to realize it. You're living what, if you think back 12 months ago when you were sat in branch at your Savills desk, you probably thought, one day I'd love to do what you're doing now, and you're actually living what you're doing. So, we're always looking forward. I think sometimes we have to take stock of where we actually are, and what you're actually doing is, living most people's dream. And I think that is commendable. So, keep it going. You're in Dartmouth, I believe, today. Is that right, Jack?
Yes, yeah. So I'm bringing on a property in Dartmouth, actually, and this is the great thing about it, is that you can have that flexibility to go anywhere. It's a really nice duplex apartment right next to the marina, and the vendor is someone who I sold their house in Bath. So I sold the house in Bath. That was one of their holiday homes, and they're just kind of selling quite a few of their holiday homes at the moment. They said, well, we've got one in Dartmouth as well, Jack. Would you be interested in selling this one too? I said, yeah, of course, 100%. I'd love to. So yeah, been down here this morning, getting the video tour introduction done, and we'll probably just work with some of the eXp guys locally. They can help out with the viewings, and we'll split the fee. But yeah, it's great fun being able to come and sell something in a completely different location.
Yeah, so and that's the power of the network and of the organisation of eXp in itself. Not only are you not sort of constrained to patches, but you can sell and collaborate with agents across the country and internationally. I've had two recent referrals from Dubai. I've had one from India, and I've sold a place in Kent. I've sold sold a place in Halifax through other EXP agents. I actually forgot about one that I'd referred up to someone, and all of a sudden I got a message from EXP billing inquiry saying, "Here, can you send us an invoice for £2,000?" I was like, "What is that?" Oh, right, I remember now. It was something I'd sent over. So, yeah, it's it's something which a lot of people aren't aware of is the collaboration and also the ability to refer business. But also, if you want to jump on the train or drive down to Dartmouth and sell it, you can. I know James Hughes is not on the call today, but he sold something up in Chester. He went up on the train and sold it himself. You can do whatever you want, and that's what is brilliant. What's the future for you, Jack? What's the goal for this year? What are you aiming for?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think really it's establishing myself in Bath and establishing myself in the higher value instruction. So I've had a lot of success in the first year. What I've got sold flats mainly in Bath between 500,000 and 750,000, which is great. I think with the service and the package that I want to offer, which is more of a bespoke service, things like property staging, inclusive of the fee, going after those higher value properties with higher fees warrants that extra cost at my end, that extra marketing cost. And so I really want to, in this next year, eat away at the stranglehold that Knight Frank, Savills and some of the other agents in Bath have over the £1 million plus market. So really try to chip away at that and start to build up market share in that part of the market. That's very much my focus for Bath over the next 12 months.
I think it all starts with one. You just need one vendor to give you a go, and then from that point you'll be able to prove what you can do. And you'll slowly chip. I mean, Daniel Archer's a prime example of that in Wimbledon Rains Park. He's now operating mainly in the 1 million to 3 million market, and he's got 30 instructions on. But it's taken him 3 years to get that. And you're in that sort of energy build phase now, and I believe you bought your first flat. Is that right, over in Bath?
Yes, yeah, bought a doer upper through auctions. So yeah, 1-bed flat in Weston, so sort of the west part of Bath. It will require a lot of work, so just be having people working around me whilst I'm in there. New bathroom, new kitchen, redecoration throughout. But yeah, it'll be a fun project, and hopefully we'll add some value to it as well and make a return on the investment.
Do you know what I would do? Video all of it and use that as social media content.
Definitely.
Yeah,
people will love to watch that, and it'll be really engaging. And then post it up.
Have you spent any money on social media marketing at all, or have you just done it organically?
I've done it organically. I've dabbled a couple of times, and it does seem to work. I mean, one of the first responses I was talking about from social media was from I think I said I was doing like 15 quid of ads on one of the videos I posted, and a developer reached out to me and said, "I bought this house, going to be converted into 3 flats. Can you do a valuation for me on it?" And that came from that paid ad of 15 quid. So that was a good return on investment there. I
double down on that.
You think so?
Honestly, especially as soon as you see something that's successful, then spend more money on that.
Yeah.
And my real estate coach who got me to join eXp, he talks about the three pillars. So don't try and do a little bit of everything. That's one of the things that I always did. I do a little bit of mailers, bit of marketing here, bit of marketing here, bit of marketing here. Don't find a niche. Like if it's, for example, I think you will be very good on the high end stuff. But if you are amazing at doing flats in Bath, then find the way that you're getting those properties and then just go for it. And like if you've already got if you're already going to make, I don't know, 5-10 grand from an advert that cost you £15, go and spend 1,500 on that, and I put money on you will make a ridiculous amount. And if that video worked, then do similar videos and just keep doing the same thing over again. Keep being out there and make it so that people are fed up of seeing your face.
Which I don't think they will be, Jack. Everyone likes looking at you, I'm sure. I'm conscious of the time. I know, Jack, you've got a busy day and you've got a call coming up and you've got to go and visit go and get this lovely property all sorted out in Dartmouth. We're bang on 12:30, so that's a half an hour wrap. So how do people get hold of you, Jack? What's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, so you can find me on social media. Jack Flower Property is my handle across all things. LinkedIn, Jack Flower. It's probably the best way to find me through social media. Instagram, YouTube, wherever, Jack Flower Property, and you'll find me.
Okay, we'll be seeing your face all around Bath, I'm sure, very soon.
Thanks, Jack.
Have a great day, Jack.
Cheers, thank you.